Welcome to New Brunswick, folks. It's summertime. Let me go for a little further back so you can see more of the garden. I have the camera on its widest angle setting, but unfortunately, that's as wide as I can get it. It's just a little camera that I have, but I'm using what I got. And so, but I wish I could show you the garden in its full glory. You're only actually able to see a third of it because of the angle that the camera is able to capture. But everything is in its full glory. The leaves are fully open. The forest behind me, if you can see, is super dark because although we live in a forest that more of a conifer tree, conifer tree, obviously tree, forest, but that's only 60%. The other 40% is deciduous trees, and those are trees that have leaves. And once the leaves are open, along with their branches, and more branches coming, more leaves coming, leaves are getting bigger. The canopy of them provide a beautiful dark shade and cool forest behind me. I say behind me because you're behind me, but I'm entirely encased in the forest. So the only open space that I have is something like 1/10 of an acre. The rest of the 44 acres is all forested woodland. There's a, excuse me, we have a forest school across the road from us. And soon the kids are going to be coming for their camp. People from all over the province, well, I shouldn't say province, about an hour or so, people drive their kids over to our forest school to learn about what we already have here. The harvest, well, this is, we're almost ready to harvest. I mean, we're already harvesting our parsley and what am I looking at? Cilantro, dill behind me there, lettuce, kale. You can't see these. Garlic will be ready to harvest soon. Tomatoes, there's a bed next to you there in the front, over there, over here, over there, which you can't see, is too dark, or maybe not in the view. It's really a happy time of the year. How can I put it? And I feel a little guilty because elsewhere in Canada, other folks are plagued with maybe perhaps drought or too hot of days. And we're fortunate, I guess you can say, that we live in a cooler part of the country, and we get rain once, if not twice a week. And last night, just like the night before, it was only 10 or 11 degrees Celsius, which means for me, someone that can't handle a lot of heat, brilliant night for sleep, especially since we don't have any air conditioners or even fans. So we can't even open the windows because it gets too cool. Oh, one thing that I guess it relates, I can tie it to that, is that when you're in the city, when we lived in the city, you have structures, you have pavement, you have concrete, you have cars, you have buildings, you have whatever structures. And during this from it's about 8:30 now, so say from 8:30 to about 8:30 at night, all these structures absorb the heat, including the ground. And at night, when the sun sets and you think, well, okay, it's going to be cooler now, and technically you're right because the sun's not there. But what happens is that all of these things, structures and cars and the pavement and everything that absorbed the sun in the morning, starts to radiate it back out, which makes it for an uncomfortable night of sleep. Whereas here, because I mentioned earlier, if you remember, you see how dark it is behind me. All these leaves and branches and trees don't allow the sun to hit the ground, to heat the ground. But when you walk through it, you get, I don't know if you've ever seen even pictures of it, piercings of sun rays coming through, sometimes very thin, like laser focus, sometimes bigger beams of light hitting the forest floor. And that's what it looks like. It's very magical, but the fact is that these trees look like an umbrella that protects the ground from losing its moisture and heating up. And once the sun goes down, 8:30, 9:30, the cool forest air starts to come out. And it's as if by convection, and we get this incredible scent of the forest floor, maybe some decaying leaves, the mushrooms, the mycelium, the whatever fungi. They release their spores or their scents, and it's just like an old bookstore, how else can I put it? If you can think of decaying leaves in the fall. Anyway, so we actually can't keep our windows open at night because of that. It can get too cold. New Brunswick in the summertime. Well, I can more talk about our particular region than any other part of New Brunswick because we live here. But New Brunswick is a unique province in that it's not all the same everywhere. To where I'm pointing now, to our west, there is. Oh, I think the kids are arriving by bus or whatever to the forest camp. To our west, we have Maine, the state of Maine, about an hour, almost exactly an hour from us. If you go 2.5 hours south, that's south, I'm pointing to south, and that is the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and the other Atlantic provinces, which are mainly, not mainly, but all islands, the three of them. And behind me is north, and 2 hours drive north is the province of Quebec. That's a French-speaking province in Canada, mostly French, maybe 80-90% French-speaking. And when from there you can go to other provinces of Canada. So New Brunswick is sort of a gateway. And this way, east, if you go east, about 2.5 hours drive, is also Atlantic Ocean, and really from there, you pass that, you go to Europe, which is Scotland and Ireland and the Scandinavian countries, and that's how the earliest settlers came here. Actually, I think the earliest settlers were Vikings. They found Vikings longhouses and things in New Brunswick. In fact, New Brunswick's flag had a Viking ship on the flag. So that was about 1,000 years ago. So what else can I tell you about New Brunswick summertime? Yeah, New Brunswick summertime is a good 3 months. We get a good 3 months of summer. We don't have any other season that's 3 months. Our springs and fall is shorter, and our winters are longer, but our summers are exactly 3 months. For those who like 3 months of anything, especially summer, this is the place to be for the summertime. It's I think the hottest day, and the climate is changing, folks. You already know, but I think even this year, we've had 2 high 30 days, and that's including the humidex, which we normally don't get. But really, 27 degrees Celsius is about average temperature here. But like I said, climate is changing. Who knows what the future will bring? So far, we don't have any ticks, but if the trend continues, the ticks will move up to us too, whereas normally it used to be cooler. Also, in our oceans now, we're finding sharks coming, well, and a lot of other like lobsters and other sea inhabitants that used to prefer used to be in cooler water where they used to live. Their waters are now heating up, and so they're slowly moving up to Canada for our cooler waters, which now it used to be too cold for them. Now it's exactly how they like it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm just letting you know what I know. I am actually exhausted and pooped working outside, as I always do, as you already know, some of you already know. But then there's heat exhaustion. I work for my elderly neighbor across the road, and so by the time I come inside, at the end of the day, I'm exhausted. But when I open the window, to check, just sit down and check my emails and maybe watch a show, I don't know. But then the forest air comes in and it's so delicious that I gotta shut that laptop off, close my eyes and take that in. When I was in town, used to be take yoga classes, and they used to tell you close your eyes and breathe, and they're breathing, I can't even remember anymore, breathing classes, breathing yoga, whatever, that I can't remember the name of them, that was just entirely dedicated to breathing. But here I don't have to close my eyes and imagine I'm here, and I automatically do it, because you just can't, when you're hit with that smell of the forest at night, you just can't help it but to put aside everything else you're doing. I'm already not on, I'm not on my cell phone hardly ever. Like days go by, and I've not even turned my cell phone on. And for one, the signals are really weak. Secondly, I don't have a need for it. I don't walk around with it taking pictures of things. And I'm sorry if I don't post enough pictures for you, but when I remember, I do. Oh, actually, I'm just seeing right in front of me, we're growing parsley and letting it go to, let me just go in front of it, maybe against my shirt you can see this is parsley, if you can see, and this is parsley. Well, the reason why this is different, and that's actually parsley. Well, let's start from there. If you like parsley dishes like tabbouleh and frittatas and whatever, we won't get into that. I can talk forever. You want to plant things in succession, so you plant some things, say today, and 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, you plant the same thing, starting over again. So you always have a fresh, ready supply. So, but here in this particular section here, you can see it's about a foot taller. We're letting it go to seed, and you don't have to be a prepper or a doomsday whatever to be doing this. But if you're growing organically, you can buy seeds organically, or you can let some of your plants go to seed purposefully. So then you can seed save. You can collect those seeds and for next year. And not all seeds are viable, but the farmers of 100, 200 years ago plus, they used to select the plants that were stronger, hardier, bigger, whatever, the seeds of them for next year. So this is happening here. What else can I tell you about summers in New Brunswick? Well, New Brunswick, our location I mentioned where we are, we're centrally located. But New Brunswick is, as I mentioned in my other videos about New Brunswick, we're unique in that we are not an island. New Brunswick is not an island. The province of New Brunswick is not an island. And in fact, it has different topography. If you were to go to, say, where we are, you will have I would say more mountainous, as opposed to if you were to go to, say, south of us, when they're on the ocean, they're at sea level, which they're floodplains, they get a lot of floodings there, plus there's hurricanes that are now more frequent and stronger. And so it's still a beautiful province down there. It's just, if you don't mind the erosion and rising sea levels, that might be an option for you if you're thinking of moving to New Brunswick. And it also costs a lot more to live there, the real estate. how can I so imagine a typical 3-bedroom home in down south on the ocean. 80% of the population lives down south New Brunswick, and so a typical 3-bedroom home over there on a sort of a postage stamp lot, plot land, if you want to call it, would cost you about 400,000, maybe more. I don't know, depending on the neighborhood too, I suppose, just like everywhere else. But right now, right here in our all organic neighborhood, a 4-bedroom home with solar assembly, renewables, and on 10 acres will cost you 650,000. So you see the price difference. Also, if where land over there is $60,000 an acre, land here is $15,000 an acre. Now, you can even find cheaper real estate if you were to go drive an hour north, which is where I'm pointing, going towards province of Quebec. But an hour north doesn't take you to province of Quebec. 2 hours, 2.5 hours does. The reason I say that is because the closer you get to the province of Quebec, because it's so much more expensive there, people from that province come to live in province of New Brunswick because we share a border, but they work over there. So the prices of real estate of New Brunswick there is much higher than here where I am. But in between between here and there, like I said, an hour drive north, you can find properties even less priced than here. But as with everything, you have to weigh what it is that you want. For instance, what I mean is, if you're a super ultra introvert and don't mind not seeing people for days or weeks or maybe even months, then that might be something that you might want to consider, because when you go an hour north of us, it becomes, we are already very rural where I live now, and you still hear sometimes some cars coming by, some people are building right now. There's only 75 of us here now on something like 1,000 acres. But you still hear maybe sometimes a car or truck go by from time to time, which is odd. But over there you'll hear nothing. If you go an extra hour north of us, nothing, because it's super isolated. A good thing about it is that, like I said, the prices are less, real estate prices are less. The bad thing about it is that, like, you have no one there. Your nearest neighbor might be tens of kilometers away from you. Your nearest grocery shopping, I'm not talking a mall. You're not going to see a mall anywhere. You have to go to Quebec for that. Might be an hour away from you, whereas for us it's 15 minutes. We're 15 minutes away from the nearest little shopping, half an hour bigger shopping, hour and a half, even more, but then there are only 70,000 people that live in that city. So you see what I'm saying? Another bad thing about it is if there's becomes security. I don't mean somebody breaking into your house or somebody coming to rob you or kill you or anything. We haven't had anything like that anywhere in New Brunswick as far as I know. But still, the fact is that something should happen to you, you should hurt yourself, or you want to go to town and you want someone to look after you, keep an eye on your property. There is no one. But then, on the other hand, you pay nothing. I say nothing. You might pay $5,000 an acre for your property. And one thing I forgot to mention: all of Atlantic provinces of Canada, houses, unless you're buying a house that's brand new, even brand new is not, they're not built well, they never were. But the ones that are older houses, so say from 50 years and older, they were never built right. They were built well and on purpose, because folks, when people pioneered here 100 years ago, whenever, they were in a hurry to settle, to build whatever little shack that they could, plow the field, get it ready for next year, and maybe they had kids and all of that stuff before the winter set in. And then the next year, life was hard. They had to travel far and horrible roads to get to like a general store for whatever. So they weren't thinking, oh, I'm going to build this house with the best quality lumber and the fit and finish. If you're buying a property sight unseen in New Brunswick, first of all, I highly recommend that you don't do it and go see it in person. But secondly, because that might be a bulldoze house. There is a reason why if you see a house that's selling for $100,000 or less, or even $200,000 or less, it's probably because it's a bulldoze property. Now, if you're buying a house between $200,000 and $300,000, there's probably a good chance that you're going to need maybe $50,000, $100,000 plus in renovations. Nothing's been done to it. So keep that in mind. I am now, after 11 years of being here, off-grid coach, and I can guide you in particular in New Brunswick, in our area, but elsewhere. If you're thinking of making a transition from the city to country or rural, even wherever else in Canada or another country, I can tell you from what I've learned, my experiences, where to buy, where not to buy, what to look for, what to stay away from. It's vast. There's a lot. I can't mention it all here. So contact me, and I'll let you know, and I'll guide you. In the meantime, I hope you're able to enjoy your summertime as much as we are here, wherever you are. And if you're thinking of moving elsewhere, save your money. Nothing's cheap. Nothing's free. Everything will cost you. And the more you save now, the farther you'll go later when you go to make your transition. And also remember that money goes. Money goes. And an elder once told me this when we first moved here, and boy, did money go. All of our savings went in something like 6 months. In the meantime, folks, get out, enjoy this summer. And as I say, think outside. Box not required.